My name is Sarah Swain, and this is a self-video presentation for Class BA 341, Legal Environment and Business, with Dr. Daryl Holliday as professor. This is video number 8 on intellectual property, and I'll be going over some of the key points that I took away from the video. So the first thing is, it defined intellectual property. So it's things you cannot interact with in the physical world. Any property that is a product of an individual's minds. For example, this could be a book, it could be music, software, movies, things of that nature. So at the point when it gets actual physical protection under intellectual property is when it is reduced to a tangible, reproducible, or repeatable medium. So that could be a recording, writing, things like that. So you put two people in different rooms and you give it to them, and then they come together and they do the same thing. That is when it is protected by intellectual property rights. So if you perform a song that you came up with, but you didn't record it, you didn't write it down, that's not covered. So it's technically not your intellectual property because you haven't put it down on paper or recorded it or anything. It's not reproducible yet. So property rights were actually written into the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. The European system that we came out of did not respect intellectual rights. So instead of the intellectual property being your property, it was a property of the king or the queen, which kind of led to a decrease in innovation because no one really got credit or was over whatever intellectual properties that they came up with. Based on this intellectual property, the US is actually leading the world in innovation. So I thought that was pretty interesting. There are 3 products of intellectual property. There's copyrights, trademarks, and patents. This video mostly focused on pretty much trademarks. So a distinctive motto, mark, or emblem that is stamped or affixed to a product so that it could be identified in the market. You can think of Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Michael Jordan, different things like that. And then it comes up with trademark infringement. So this is when, say Michael Jordan, it's not actually Michael Jordan. It could be anyone jumping up in the air, but it's that same kind of outline. If it confuses the customer, that's when there's trademark infringement. So I thought that was very interesting. Then there's trademark registration. So pretty much if the trademark is already in use or will be used within 6 months, that's when you register it. There are a couple of different things that you see for trademarks. So there's TM, so that's a claim, and an R with like a circle around it is when it's registered. You register your trademark patents with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And then the first renewal is between 5 and 6 years after the initial registration. And then after that, it's every 10 years, excuse me. So that is pretty much the key learning outcomes of this intellectual property video. Again, it focused mostly on defining what intellectual property was, where it was in the Constitution, why we have it, and then on trademarks.